Hi everyone, it's Jonathan from Ars Technica, and this week we are filming Ferrari's California T, which is this lovely bright red convertible you see. Ferrari have a huge amount of aerodynamics knowledge now based on their long experience in Formula One, and this car benefits from quite a lot of that. So you can't see it, but underneath the car the body's carefully shaped so that the air gets sucked in and helps stick the car down to the ground. At the back there's a gigantic diffuser, which looks quite cool. And then some things you can see here are the way that the sculpting of the body, so you get hot air kind of comes out of here, is channeled up there and then over the top, which helps reduce lift, maybe creates a little bit of downforce. They even sculpted, there's even kind of aero channels sculpted onto the mirrors, which is kind of neat. Vents on the hood, which when you're stuck in traffic blow out a lot of heat. This is your rear seat. If the passenger seat is moved forward, you could probably get an adult in the back there. I'm only 5'7", and I'm not sure I would wish that on very many people behind me. It's great for luggage though. If you have luggage or maybe even dogs, you can put your dogs back there. But so you can't lower the roof whilst you're driving. Some cars will let you do it up to about 20 miles an hour. This one pitched a bit of a fit when I tried that, insisted I pulled over. One thing I've noticed is the car vibrates quite a lot when the roof is going up and down. There's Ferrari's cruise control, which they call pit speed, which I guess is a reference to their Formula One activities. It's just a regular old-fashioned cruise control. It's not adaptive, there's no lane keeping. This car does not drive itself. Ferrari's standard multi-function steering wheel. I think with the FF we counted, and there's probably 19 different buttons in total. So you've got your turn signals, your engine start button, your bumpy road damper thing if you want to drive in sport mode but the roads are broken like they are here in DC, your headlights, windscreen wipers. There's some buttons on the back here which you can't see, which do that's the volume for the infotainment. There's like you can change the tracks on this side. Obviously you have your gigantic shift paddles. These are fixed to the steering column so that you can turn the wheel, but the shift paddle will always be, the downshift will always be here and the upshift will always be there. That's your horn. And then here we have a little series of shift lights, so that if you don't want to watch this gigantic rev counter that's in front of you, you just wait for the little red LEDs to pop up here, and then when you get on road and you pull this paddle again, you get a whole nother gear. Here's your little multi-function display. This shows you your vehicle dynamics. Everything's in sport mode right now. If we push the bumpy road, you'll see the dampers should, when the screen comes, there you go. So the dampers have gone green. If we put everything in comfort, it all goes green. You can switch back to sport there. And if you want to, you can turn off the stability control. Wow, now it says it's 104 degrees. With the AC, could do with being a lot stronger. Have I mentioned how hot it is today? Trip computer, which annoyingly doesn't actually tell you your like anything to do with fuel. It doesn't tell you your, like, it tells you your range, but you can't get like an MPG readout, which maybe is to spare people's anxiety because perhaps it's single digits. I haven't worked out exactly what MPG we've got so far, but we did about 130 miles on the first tank. There's this bridge thing where Ferrari keeps its reverse button, a button to make the transmission shift automatically, which it does really quite well. You could just drive this car like a normal automatic. Your grandmother could take it to the shops. It drives really easily. There's lots of ground clearance, so you don't have to worry about speed bumps and things. There's this PS button, which is launch control. A little cubby here with not one but two USB ports. One of them in fact marked for CarPlay. So one thing they've added is this little gauge in the middle, which is kind of neat. So you just tap it anywhere on the bezel and it changes the display. So you can see right now it's 104 degrees, and that is the outside temperature, not the engine temperature. This tells you your turbo response. Yep, PSI. Yep, that registers. Obviously there are only two pedals. Brake is nice and big. They're quite cool. They're little drilled metal pedals. I like it. The steering is fantastic. So they've added a quicker steering rack to this one. And Ferrari actually have been known of recent years for very quick steering anyway. So this is the heart of the Ferrari California T, which is a 3.8 litre twin turbocharged V8. And Ferrari moved to a turbo engine with the California T, because that's the way the automotive industry is going. Everyone's going turbocharged, but the reason they're doing that is because you can get much better emissions, much better fuel economy, and still make power. So they say that this one, I think it was supposed to be 15% more power, and I think 25% better fuel economy than the previous car. The all-important figure is 250 grams of CO2 per 100 kilometers, which is lower than a gigantic V12 will get. The engine is, the bits you can see are actually quite pretty. It has Ferrari's traditional crackle red finish on the cam covers down here and the intake plenums, and the turbos are somewhere underneath all this black plasticky mess. Good engine, it revs to 7,500, which is pretty good for a turbo. It's not like a screaming V8 like the old one, which would go to above 8,000. And the sound is a little bit muffled, but it's still, it doesn't sound too bad. Let's rev her up. So this is the trunk. They have this little thing to stop you overloading it. So you could probably just about get one Ron in there, but I think you'd have to chop him into pieces first to get him to stack nicely. So I'm not sure Ron would appreciate. We definitely couldn't fit Jay in this trunk. They do give you gloves. Look, it's a little Nomex glove with a Ferrari logo on it.